to Contracting Conversations. My name is Jim Valley, and I'm joined by my co-host, Scott Williams. Today, our conversation is with David Dotson, Professor of Contract Management for DAU in the Mid-Atlantic region. David is the Learning Asset Manager for DAU's COR 222 class and a moderator for the COR Community of Practice and DAU's weekly event series called the COR Office Hours. So, David, thanks for joining us again today.
Jim, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it, especially the opportunity to talk about statements of work and 4 ways that you can improve pretty much any of them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this conversation. So let's begin with you sharing why only 4 steps.
Well, DAU offers several different types of workshops for writing requirements, all the way from engineering specifics to revising or developing a PWS or a statement of work. A lot of details in those. Unfortunately, a lot of times organizations don't have the time to do that. I mean, just literally don't have the time for lots of very legitimate reasons. They just can't do it. Same thing with the COR. COR is oftentimes picked because of their SME-ness, because their subject matter expertise on whatever the topic is. The COR is nominated, and they may be doing other jobs and being asked to help either write entirely or have significant input into the statement of work. And there's just not a lot of time. And so you say, well, what do we do? Well, oftentimes an organization will take whatever worked last time, whether it worked well or not, and bring it forward and say, well, there we go. We've gone through it. We've done Control F. We've changed the dates. We're good. And that doesn't work out so well. Right? We're missing some opportunity there. So it's mainly a time-saving thing. If you have plenty of time, start from scratch. Not many people have that time.
Well, I think it's very important for the COR to be involved in writing or helping to write the statement of work or PWS or SOO. But I think a lot of times they're not even appointed or even known who they are until after it's written and awarded. And I think that's more of a challenge. So I think that's a good point in itself, despite what you're going to be talking about in these 4 steps.
So let me show you what the 4 steps are there. This is it. I'm showing a slide there. It just has the 4 steps listed. Concept 1, Concept 2, Concept 3, and Concept 4. These are concepts that you just apply as a step to improving the statement of work. The first one, state something once in the most appropriate place. Simple, right? It applies. You can do that on any work statement, whether it's a great one or was kind of not so good, right? You can bring that in, put it on the computer, and just say, well, let me find everywhere I say the same thing, and then find the place that you want to say it. And if you have to say it again or then just refer back to it. Solves a lot of problems on statements of work, like if you have to go back and edit or change something, right? Finding every instance. So that's the first one. Easy step. It automatically improves the statement of work. You look at the second one there, develop a logical order, right? Take a look at it. Have you got assembly information up at the top, and then you've got supply information in the middle, and then you've got assembly information down at the bottom, and then you've got test stuff sprinkled throughout. That gets confusing, right? Clump it all together, put it where you want it to be, and give it that logical order. Right? That's a simple step. Look at the third one, task the contractor. This one, when we do this in workshops, we have not had a situation yet where the people attending the workshop have used concept number 3 and applied it as a step to their statement of work where they said, wow, that really didn't help. They are amazed. Like, oh my gosh, why are we tasking the government in our statement of work? We don't contract with the government. We contract with a contractor. We want them to do something. We'll take care of managing the government people. We have supervisors and we have commanders and leaders and all kinds of people in Department of Defense that are more than willing to lead. Right? We don't need to put that into the statement of work because we're trying to talk to the contractor, not to the government. So just going through and looking anywhere where it says the government will or the government may or the government shall, totally inappropriate. Unless we're talking about like the government's going to provide government furnished property, but there's a whole nother section for that, right? There's a whole nother place to put that. It doesn't need to be in the statement of work. So tasking the contractor is huge. Number 4, describe what you want objectively, right? That's the 4 rules.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Great.
Yeah, David, the slide said any work statement. Is that what you mean? Any?
Absolutely. Absolutely any. And it doesn't matter if, most organizations look at their statement of work, and rightfully so. They're like, a lot of work went into this, a lot of effort went into this. This is not a bad statement of work. That's probably a true statement. It's not a bad statement of work. If you were able to put it on contract and get something close to what you wanted, it wasn't bad. Can it be better? Absolutely. These 4 principles applied will make any statement of work. It'll take a great one and make it even better. It'll take a poor one and make it good.
Great.
So do you mean apply these steps and all is well? I mean, this is like a guarantee or what?
No, well, it's probably better to just say apply these steps and all will get better. Right? It's not going to fix it. You can't sit down and say, well, I did these 4 steps, now we're done. Because especially, I'm going through the 4 steps here. I want to bring up the 4th one. Describe what you want. Right? Here, the biggest improvement that comes from this is sit down with your team and talk about what do we want to get from this, and listen to what people are describing. We want it to fly faster. We want it to carry more. We want it to have a longer range. We want to have clearer reports. Whatever you're doing, supplier service, listen to what they're saying that they're looking for, and then look at your statement of work and say, did we say that in there? Did we tell the contractor that that's what we want? And usually when people describe what they have or what they're trying to get, they're going to be objective about it. How do you know? Well, it flies faster. Well, how do you know? Well, we can measure that. Great. Now you're beginning to describe what you want. You tell the contractor what you want, how you're going to measure it. Automatically makes the whole thing better. You could always improve that objective description.
So it seems to imply that you're not just doing the final version immediately and that there's going to be drafts. But that does take a lot of time, and usually the customer starts a lot of times late in the game and it's rushed. So what's your thoughts on that?
You're absolutely right. If we're striving for perfection, that's probably an unrealistic goal. If we're going to wait until we get perfect, we're probably not going to get on a contract. And when we apply these, depending on how much time you have, you can do 1 iteration or 2 iterations or 3 iterations. It depends on how much time you have and how much effort can be put into it to just apply these simple steps. Not a lot of rethinking of what the requirement is here. You've already defined the requirement pretty well. Now we're just going to sort of edit it with these steps and make it more clear. If you don't have a lot of time, 1 round. Or you can pick one of the steps. Notice each one of these steps, they don't have to go sequentially. One doesn't depend on the other. You could say, hey, we only have got a half a day here, and then we've got to kick this thing over the fence. Let's go ahead and take a look at where are we tasking the government in our statement of work, and let's take that out. Right? That will automatically make it clearer.
All right. Thanks, David.
Yeah, great. Thanks, David. Appreciate you being with us today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, folks, that's all the time we have for today. But just as a reminder, you can find our podcast on DAU Media, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. And if you like the content that we're providing, please subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that like button. It really helps Jim and I to continue to provide great content like we had today. Also, type any questions you might have below, any comments for future discussions, and help spread the word of this channel to your peers and to those you supervise or lead, and let us help you answer their questions. We look forward to having future contracting conversations with you.